Welcome back. It's First and Now, the official BC Lions podcast. Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski. We're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcast platform turns you on, so to speak. Nick, how are you?
Doing good. It's picking up here. We got coaches here.
Yeah, I mean, it's I tell you what, was so entrenched in this COVID working situation for a long time. You live close by. I'm 20 minutes away. Like, more often than not, since the new year, since the seasons started really last year, I'm just kind of used to coming in every day, and it's quiet. But get in yesterday morning, or I shouldn't make it time sensitive. We're getting here Monday morning. We record this on a Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. It's bumping. There's coaches in here. Rick Campbell and his staff in here all week, and we are, I guess, about 8 weeks away from heading up to Kamloops for 2022 training camp. So, yeah, it's a good feeling, if you ask me.
That was my first thought, is it kind of made training camp more of a reality, like that it's coming. It's close.
Yeah. We'll be sweating bullets and applying the sunscreen in the heat, even in late May, early June.
You got to convince me that it's not like plus 13 and cloudy every single day here for the whole entire year.
This is warm for you.
That's what I've been dealing with, though, like for about the past 2 or 3 weeks, is plus 13, cloudy. Yeah. Maybe a little rain, and then maybe a little sunshine.
What's the weather in Winnipeg today?
I haven't checked. I don't want to do that to myself.
Yeah, let's we can send some.
They're in mud season, so I know the snow was melted. So now everything's like brown. So you blow like through a tank of windshield wiper fluid every time you drive to work.
So when the sun comes out here this afternoon or this week, you can take a picture and send it to all your boys and girls in the peg.
My Instagram stories of walks in the park do enough justice.
Where'd you check out last weekend? White Rock, was it?
Yeah, White Rock. Went down to the pier, grabbed some food there. Pretty much watch the sunset. Is that romantic?
But, well, who were you with? Were you romantically with somebody? Or
a Winnipeg friend.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you like long walks on the beach,
long walks on the pier.
That's what it was.
The longest pier in Canada. That blew my mind. It says it right in front of us.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't been down to White Rock in a long time, so
I like it. It has like the California vibe to it for a Canadian place.
Well, our next guest here in a few moments might have some memories of White Rock and the scene there. The OB, the Ocean Beach Hotel, was the old nightclub there. I had my 19th birthday there a long time ago. Maybe we'll ask Sean about some various Sean Whyte I'm talking about here. The Lions kicker is going to join us, but we'll get into all sorts of things, I'm sure, with Sean, not just football, but off-field activities and whatnot. But you're seeing every part of the Lower Mainland so far. That's awesome.
Is that not what I have to do after moving here?
Yeah. And I mean,
wouldn't want any other way.
What's your favorite thing about living here so far, other than the weather?
Oh, that was my answer.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Looking at mountains whenever I really want. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, I can look outside my window in my apartment. I can see mountains. I think
mountains in Winnipeg.
That's really fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't got old yet. I don't think it will.
Awesome. Yeah, it's we certainly take it for granted, and I love going to Winnipeg, especially for football. And we're going there. It's
October.
Is it the last game of the regular season?
It is the last game of the year. Yeah. Is. I almost have the dates memorized for the road games. I'm looking forward to them. I've never been to Montreal. I've never been to Edmonton, so that's another one I'm looking forward to.
You know what's funny? We will have not been to Edmonton since 2019. Of course.
Michael Riley's return, right?
His
last game.
So it's funny. We actually went there 3 times that year. We went in preseason, and Michael did not make the trip because first preseason game, really, it's your first chance to evaluate other people, right? Because you got decisions to make. I'll never forget. That was the first year, and the only time to date, because we haven't had preseason games since then, where We actually flew the day before. Normally we go right in and out from Kamloops, but I don't know if the league changed the rule where you have to be in the city. And it was an afternoon game too, so maybe it just made more sense. So it's funny. So we got to Edmonton in preseason. We were there so it was a Friday night, Saturday afternoon game. Friday night, the Toronto Raptors advanced to the NBA Finals.
Oh, against the Bucks, yeah.
So game 6, I guess that was.
Yep.
So we're out at the Sherlock Holmes pub. That's a place in Edmonton we'll have to check out this season. Just around the corner from the hotel, the Westin Hotel where we stay. And this was kind of surreal. There's Sean Whyte's a little early. He left his coffee in here when we were shooting the breeze, so to speak. I don't see it. Do you see a Sean Whyte coffee cup?
I see my coffee cup.
Yeah.
But
maybe he got rid of it. Anyway, we were shooting the breeze.
Maybe he wants mine.
We were shooting the breeze with Sean Whyte, and we said, "Oh, you're a little early for the interview. We got to start this off, just the two of us, but we'll get him back in here." But anyway, so we watched the Raptors. This is a way too long-winded story to begin with, but Friday night, Raptors, everything, it's cool. People are going nuts. And then Saturday's the preseason game. And just talking to a couple of Edmonton staffers. Oh, no Mike today, huh? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. Mike will be back. It turns out we were back there for the first regular season road game in week 2. Didn't go over well. And that last trip in October that year that I referenced, unfortunately, was the night he broke his wrist.
Yeah.
And they beat us again. And ultimately, the playoff hopes died in Edmonton. So we're due to win in Edmonton. It's been since 2013, I think, I want to say. So,
wow.
But we're going to talk about Edmonton with Sean Whyte, of course, the Eskimos, as they were known at that time, a Grey Cup champion in 2015. And we'll get his thoughts on how he got to Edmonton. It almost didn't happen, I believe. So we'll look forward to that.
There's a story about a really clutch kick that he made back at IG Field as a member of Edmonton in 2015, and I want to get his thoughts on that too. It had to be a special day for him.
It was a birthday present for you, wasn't it?
For me, well, that kick wasn't a present. The tickets were.
Because that was that. Yeah, that's right. You guys were talking about that on the day he came in to sign.
Yeah, en route to the Grey Cup win. All
right, Sean Whyte coming up here. All right, Lions kicker Sean Whyte is here on First and Now. Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski. I've got Sean's bio up. I could read off some boring things like outstanding Canadian nominee one time, outstanding special teams nominee one time. He was a Surrey Ram. Lion turned Alouette, turned Eskimo, turned Elk, turned Lion.
You forgot White Rock Titans, too.
White Rock Titans, yeah. Did you play with Wally's kid there?
Yeah, Mike. That's how it all began for me. So they invited me out to practice or play with their team. I said no. I didn't want to just be a kicker because I was playing rugby and hockey and baseball, everything. But then I started watching kickers. I'm like, oh, that looks easy. They kick from the middle of the field. In rugby, we kick from the sidelines sometimes. So it was actually a buddy of mine got me out to play. I played one game, and then after the game, Wally Bono came over. He goes, you have power. You just need technique. You kick like a rugby player. So he invited me out to start practicing with the Lions when I was 18 years old.
So that's your Wally impression?
Don't get me started with those.
Well, you were here too when Paul McCallum was here too, right?
Yeah, I backed up Paul for like 4 or 5 years. But I just knew my role was to get better, and I was a development guy. And then I actually got an opportunity, I think it was 2009, and I played 12 games because he got really badly hurt. On one hit, I think he broke his wrist and a shoulder and an ankle. I don't know. It was all sorts of things. So I got to play for 12 weeks, but it was perfect for me because I got thrown in the fire and then taken out at the right time. I wasn't ready yet at that time as, I don't know, I was like 23 years old or something, 24. So I was still into my development stages at that time. But it was a great experience. Learned a lot from a lot of mistakes.
Well, I would say you didn't exactly do anything to warrant getting moved out of here. Kind of thing. You were like a player of the week or something that first year, were you not?
I can't remember how it all went down. But it was just pretty much when I was here, Wally said, he goes, I don't care. You could kick 100-yard field goals and have a 150-yard punt average. Paul McCallum's still going to be your starter here, or my starter here. And I'm like, I get it, man. That's Paul McCallum. He's a Hall of Fame kicker, and I know my role, and my role was just to get better. So, I did well for a few games. I won, what was it, Gibson's Finest Player of the Week at that time.
There you go.
And you win like a little Mickey of rye or something like that. I missed that.
Plan a safe ride home, everyone listening.
Yeah. So no, I did well. But again, I was kind of fading. I was getting tired, and it was also I was learning how to be a pro on and off the field. Mm-hmm. So again, I was young, so I learned a lot. I learned a lot how to be a pro that year.
It's funny. Our general manager Neil McAvoy, he still refers to the player awards as the Shenley Awards.
Yes.
Right. I guess even before our time, certainly before Nick's time. That was the alcohol sponsor of the era, so to speak. So it's funny. You mentioned Paul. This is 2007, 2008. You kind of start making a name for yourself, and Paul McCallum ended up kicking here until 2014. Mm-hmm. Went back. So you're like pretty much almost another decade of Paul McCallum. So as it turned out, you had to go somewhere else to establish yourself as an impact kicker in this league. And what was that process like?
It was a weird time because, at that time when you're young, you feel like you're ready and you're like, I want to play. And I knew how it all worked. If you play junior football in a province, you are owned by that CFL team. Territorial exemption.
Yeah.
So Wally knew that, and he used it, and I would too if I was in his situation, to almost hide that player. And so I don't have to go through the draft, and potentially he could lose me to that draft. So he did all the right things for him and the BC Lions, but he also at the same time where I thought he wasn't doing the right things for me, I look back, he did all the right things for me. Everything was a stepping stone. When I first started practicing with the Lions, I wasn't allowed in the locker room at first. I had to go put on my cleats on outside. Then he goes, okay, you're allowed inside. So I was just allowed just inside the wall now. And then another time he came out with a number 6 jersey and gave it to me. It was actually Javier Glatt's jersey at the time. So I had a Javi Glatt practice jersey on. And then I think it took me almost all season. Eventually I got a locker next to Paul's, right next to the equipment room. So it was all a stepping stone. And then I'm like, I want to play. You got to play me or trade me type of thing. And I know Winnipeg wanted me, and they knew about me because I'd played at this point. I think it was like 2008, 2009. I played some preseason games, but he wouldn't trade me at all. And then when I thought there was times that he could trade me, he would hide me in the roster somewhere, so I couldn't get taken. So then I remember it was 2011, and the draft was happening, and it was that moment I was talking to my agent. He goes, if you're going to go anywhere, it's going to be now in this draft. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And right at that moment, he goes, okay, it just happened. I don't even know what happened. I was like, BC had to pass on a player from Montreal I can't remember what it was. And he goes, it happened. I'm like, what happened? And he goes, expect a call. As soon as he says that, Neil's name comes on my phone. And I'm like, hey, here it is. And Neil goes, hey, we traded you to Montreal. If you need anything, let me know. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with you? He goes, well, we could have gotten more. and he was mad. And we got a first-round draft pick. And so I got traded for a lot. But then I'm like, and then Wally called me, and he goes, I know you want to go to Winnipeg. I know you wanted to go there and play. But he goes, I wanted you to do the right steps. I wanted you to be ready. If you went to Winnipeg, it's the graveyard for kickers at that time at, what was it, what's that, Canada Inns?
Canada Inns,
oh, my goodness, it was tough to kick there. And he just said, he goes, you go there, you have one bad season, your career is over. Now you're going to Montreal, where I spent my whole career with a great organization. You're going to be successful, and I'm going to sit here and watch you become a Hall of Fame kicker in Montreal. And I got chills even saying that, because right when he said it, I'm like, wow, now I see his master plan and what he wanted to do with me. And he did it. He got something for the BC Lions, and he also created my future, which was awesome. And I still thank him. He doesn't want me to thank him. He's like, get out of here. So, yeah. But he's awesome. I owe Wally a lot, even though he won't let me pay him back. But he's phenomenal at what he does. He's done it for many players and many people just off the side. What he does in the community is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And then just to get this correct, so you went from having Paul McCallum, a legend kicker in BC, then you went to Montreal, and it wasn't a legend kicker. Maybe was Damon Duval still there? Or was that right after Damon Duval?
No, they didn't pick him up that year. That's why they wanted me.
Gotcha.
But then they signed Sandro DeAngelis a week before camp. So Sandro was also one of the most accurate kickers in CFL history at that point.
So was that a battle in camp?
He thought it was.
But the legend I was going to bring up was you played with Anthony Calvillo for at the end of his career too, right?
Yeah.
So any memories of Anthony that stick out?
Anthony, he's a guy you got to watch and learn from. He is a true pro and a true beauty of a person. Like, he's just such a good guy. He's not someone that's going to go out of his way and talk or whatever, but if you go up to him and ask him, he's going to, and you're respectful, he'll help you. I remember in 1 year I was having a really rough time in the season, and we had a coach at the time I wasn't really having a good time with either, and he could see it. And this coach was affecting a lot of players, but specifically me. And he took me off to the side. He goes, "I know you don't get it right now, but what you're going through right now happens to a lot of great players, and this will make you stronger. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it'll make you stronger." And I look back at that, I'm like, holy crap, okay, it made me way stronger. If I can deal with that guy, I can deal with anybody. And I was successful that year. I should have been up for an all-star, or I think I was. I can't remember. I'm so old.
Anthony, I just want to interject a little bit. Anthony, you're so right. Anthony Calvillo, outstanding individual.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Great player, obviously. Rewrote the record books up here, but very quick story. So around the time I breaking into the radio business, working at what was then Team 1040, was producing a show, and the Alouettes were in town to play the Lions. This would have been 2008.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So I got my years mixed up. Were you there yet in 2000? Or you were still here in 2000?
In 2008, I was a practice roster player here.
Yeah. So it was really going back then. So I remember reaching out to the Montreal Alouettes communications person at the time. Say I'm producing the evening show with Blake Price, and can we just one of those, any chance we can have Anthony call in the show?
Heck yeah.
And to his credit, the gentleman emailed me back and says, "Well, why don't you just come to walkthrough practice? You can get him yourself," kind of thing. And I'm thinking, okay. So that was kind of one of my first holy shit, pardon my language, moments that I'm in this media business. I'm at the turf, the old turf at BC Place, pre-renovations.
Oh, man.
It's a walkthrough practice. You know, the Lions, back in those days, you know, the Lions would practice first, then the visitors would come in. It was an actual media event.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we'd have microphones set up like this, and there'd be an actual press conference, right?
Yep.
Just kind of shows you how the state of the day-to-day, you know, newspaper and television coverage locally in every market, not just here, has changed. But it's like, man, I'm standing at midfield at BC Place talking one-on-one to the man who will eventually become pro football, Canadian football's all-time leading passer. That was just like holy.
Yeah.
He could not have been more gracious.
He's a phenomenal player. And even when you look back at his, if you ever look way back when he first started, I think he was with Hamilton. And did you ever see all that?
It actually came in with Las Vegas.
Oh, is that what it was? So he went Vegas,
Right.
Hamilton, and then probably Montreal. But you look at that, he wasn't successful. He had to
No.
go. He had to learn how to lose, how to be, make mistakes, and that was. And it's all the greats. If you can get through that stage without getting cut and whatever, and people at least trust you and bring you back. Because I went through that. I've been cut. I've been traded, and I've been like even here. I wasn't successful. I felt like I could have been better, but I went through so much. I made so many mistakes, but I was at least given an opportunity to come back and rectify those mistakes. As best I could say that, but it's been. It's pretty crazy his career, what he went through. He made a lot of mistakes. He was almost scared out of Hamilton, and then he lands in Montreal with Tressman, and their bond together, with the way they work, was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're both on the same wavelengths. Their offensive capabilities together was kind of scary.
Almost to use almost kind of like an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes situation, where the head coach is an offensive wizard, and they just click, and they have the same philosophy.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the next stop of your career would be Edmonton.
Yeah.
So I was just talking about this before you came in, actually. But so I'm a Winnipeg boy.
Oh god.
And in 2015, I got
Nobody that can't hold that against him. He's wearing Lions colors.
There we go.
But in 2015, my birthday's on October 1st. And October 3rd, you guys are in to play the Bombers. And my
I remember
gift.
this day.
Yeah. I imagine you will remember this day because my birthday gift is some like prime tickets, right? Like 55-yard line. And I think Winnipeg was up 23-21 with about 30 seconds left. And it's, wow, Winnipeg's going to beat Edmonton. And then I guess I maybe forgot that Edmonton had Mike Raleigh and Sean Whyte.
Well, they were up by 9 at one point, and then we had, I think it was like a minute and 20 seconds left. But Liram he missed 5 field goals that day. He hit the upright 3 times and missed 2, just outright. And then
So you made up for it.
And on the last one, I told my long snapper Ryan King, I'm like, if he misses this, we could win this game, and he missed it. And then we stormed down the field, get a touchdown, and I'm like, oh no, now we got to make a game winner. And then but this time, like when I left Montreal that year, I was checked out. I was done. I was gonna retire. I had another job lined up, and when Tressman left, it took all the love of the game away from me. With what we were going through out there's no detail to what we did. It wasn't a fun atmosphere to be a part of, and I was done. And then Edmonton picked me up, and actually they asked me to be on the PR, and I said no. And I'm like, I'm not going. I got a job. But my dad convinced me to just go finish the season. So I said yes to be on the practice roster. An hour later, they call me back, go, can you be here today? I'm like, why? What's going on? Grant Shaw went out and tore his calf right after I said yes. So boom, now I'm the starter. So now I'm like, okay, I'm still kind of checked out. And a team never really allows you in to their pack unless you do something. So I think that was the third game I was with them. And so now we're at that point where we're down by now 2 with no time on the clock. Yeah. And they get me to the 53-yard line. And I think my career long at that point was 52. And there was a slight wind against me, and I just said, whatever, I got nothing to lose. So I swung for the fence, and right when I hit it, I'm like, that's in. And if you watch me, I don't want to pre-celly, because I pre-celly in golf all the time with a putt, and it rims out or something.
Oh, yeah.
So I just held it, and then it went in. But right at that moment, I'm like, okay, I love football again. This is what it's all about. And I'm part of a team and an organization that was all love about football, and it was so much fun. But yeah, I'll never forget that day, because that was one of the biggest days of my life, because it resurrected my whole career.
Yeah, right down the middle too.
It was a sweet one. It was a sweet one. I knew right away it was in right when I hit it. I'll never forget the sound that it made off my foot.
So Edmonton is where you really established yourself as a go-to clutch kicker. We mentioned some of the accolades off the top. You became a Grey Cup champion in that 2015 year yourself. And I talked to Mike Riley about this, and he said the first hurdle was getting through Calgary that year, right?
Yeah.
And I had conversations with Mike about this. You guys finished first in the West. You beat Calgary in a back-and-forth Western final. Mm-hmm. And the way he explained it to me was, it's like, holy, we got to reset now. I mean, that felt like our Grey Cup, but it wasn't our Grey Cup. And Rick Campbell and the Ottawa Red Blacks were the ones standing in your way at the end. But just your whole memories of that process and finally becoming a champion. And
for me that year, I got there right before the Labor Day Classic game. So yeah. I get thrown. They didn't know what was going on with Grant, so I didn't know if I was going to play. I went out into team meeting that day, the first one. No one said anything. So I go out to practice. I'm like looking around, where's Shaw? And I just, okay, I'm the only one here, so I just jumped into the starting role, and no one said anything until the walkthrough day, like, you're playing tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. and so that first game we had James Franklin in as quarterback. Mike was still hurt.
Correct.
So we lost that game, and it was a big blow to us, because we went in confident. And then the next game we had Mike back now, and then we just killed them. I thought we could have just smoked them by even more. I felt like the refs were a little tough that day, but
don't want to get you fined,
no
but
fines,
you're good. Yeah.
No fines. But the way Mike looked and the way he was just came back 100%, and I know they kind of had some kicking woes, and then they could kind of see that I was kicking well. So I felt like the whole team now was like, we got everything checked off the box. Like, we got everything we need. Everyone knows their role, and then we just won 12 straight. And it was again one of the most fun teams I've ever been a part of. I can't say there's no Odell Willis, Darius Bowman, but if you look throughout the whole team, there's no real stars to me anyway. But it was a bunch of guys that we would go practice together, but then we're gonna go have some beers after, and then we're gonna go win, and then we're gonna go party together. But even on my birthday, I've been on the team for a couple weeks. I had my birthday at Hudson's on White Ave. Of course, on my street.
Why not?
And then I walk in, and I was with Andrew Jones, who's an ex-BC Lion.
Correct.
And I walked in, I'm like, everybody's here. He's like, not just everyone. Mike Riley's here right now. Mm. The whole entire team was at my birthday. I've never been on a team that does that. Usually it's very cliquey,
Yeah.
You hang out during practice, but everyone goes their own way.
Position groups.
But it was
together.
Everybody. It was unbelievable, and that was our team. And then we had the bye week going. We had so we won. We were first in the West. And now we had a bye week the last game of the year, and we had a bye week because we were first in the West. We had 2 weeks, so we all went to Banff. and we all just partied for like a week straight together. But that bond with that team was so unbelievable. We'd be down by 3 or 7 going into the fourth quarter. We're like, oh, we got these guys. And our defense was to the point where if it's snowing, windy, hailing, whatever, they're like, yes, now we got these guys, because they were a grimy group of defensive players that wanted that. They wanted to be miserable for the other team, and they made it miserable for them. It was awesome.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And now, I guess we're in 2022.
Yeah.
You're back to being a BC Lion. So, like, you came in to sign that contract.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that feeling?
It was phenomenal. I was kind of, again, during like the whole process of contracts and stuff like that, I kind of caught wind that it was a good chance here, but I never, you know how things go. You never want to, I never want to say I'm a Lion until I actually sign that paper. Things can change, and but obviously my family kind of knew, and they were all kind of getting excited. And once I got the news that this was actually happening, my agent called me and said, it's all done, just got to go in and sign it. And I was just so excited, man. Like, I grew up here. I grew up wearing BC Lions gear my whole life. I watched Louis Pasaglia, the Fluties play. I remember going to those games. So when I put this on, it feels comfortable. Like, this is what I've been wearing. And to be a part of the team that I grew up watching is a dream come true. As a kid, you know how you play sports, you're like, oh, no time on the clock, 3, 2, 1, you got to hit that shot or something. I've always wanted to do it here. I wanted to be a Canuck. I wanted to be, the closest thing for baseball is Mariners, but I was a bat boy for the Mariners. You saw that on my, I know you saw that.
Your Twitter photo, yeah.
But I was always, I just support my local team so much. I'm so heavy into sports. I'm so competitive. I just wanted to play for my local team. So BC Lions and Canucks were my hugest teams. Even Vancouver Canadians, I went to their games all the time. So to be a part of this team is my dream come true. My family's so excited, and it's also a good time for me in my career. I'm 36 years old. I know I could play till I'm 45 if you guys wanted me for that long. But
Tom Brady can do it.
The TB12 method just popped in my head.
He's a freak.
First thought.
But I do want to do other things in my life. I want to do the firefighting thing. So right now I'm in the process with White Rock Fire to be an auxiliary firefighter. So I get my physical on the 3rd, and then hopefully, I'm going to do both, hopefully, if I get in. So I just do trainings on Tuesday night. So for me and my career after football, it's huge for me to be here. But to be a BC Lion is my dream come true, to actually be the starter for once and not the rookie backup kicker behind McCallum. Is such an awesome feeling. I get chills when I think about it. And I'm home. It's so nice to be back in White Rock and just, around my friends and my family. And it's just fun. You see all my friends out there like, oh, I'm getting season tickets now. And I work for Dynamic Rescue too. And all those guys are like, the business wants to get season tickets. And my girlfriend works for Anytime Fitness. So she's getting a sponsorship thing going on or something like that. I don't know. But just things are happening now where if I'm anywhere else, it's kind of just me and football, where now I can start doing other things for after football, and also my family and friends can enjoy this as well.
McCallum just texted me. He's thinking about coming to Kamloops and kicking.
That's good. Yeah,
so
come out.
He might have to.
He can shag for me.
Game.
He can shag for me.
Firefighting, was that always your post-football plan?
Yeah, actually, my dad's a firefighter. He was a 31-year vet in Delta.
Okay. Yeah.
So ever since I was a little kid, I would put on his turnout gear and spray the house down with a hose in the front lawn. And I've just always been a part of that lifestyle, is what it is. You're in a family with other people. I want to say fraternity, but there's women and men, and everyone's working together. To be a part of that atmosphere is just like being in the locker room. And it was the easiest transition for me. Even what I do with Dynamic Rescue, you go in, you're just messing around, talking crap with the boys, and it's just so much fun. It's just it's been an easy transition, and it's something I'm passionate about. To me, it's not work. It's like football. It's like I come out here and have a good time. It is what it is. I know I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to learn from it. And same thing with fire is I know I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to learn from it. But to me, it's not a job. It's a passion, and it's fun working with tools and getting dirty and just being a guy. It's just a lot of fun.
And I guess if anybody follows you on Instagram too, I think they can see that you're living it up back home here too. I remember you went to a Canucks game like front row right after you signed here.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah. I knew a guy. Actually, I bought some Ticketmaster tickets, but they for some reason canceled them last second. So I don't know what to do. So a buddy of mine who's He's actually a professional poker player, Greg Mueller. And he goes by FBT, Full Blown Tilt. So I messaged him. I know he's got some hookups for tickets somewhere. So he got me with a guy and to talk to a guy. And I actually met him a couple times. And he actually was wearing a G-Roy jersey when I called him. He sent me a picture of that. I'm like, I gotta get you an up-to-date jersey of mine. But he just said, where do you want them? I just said, I don't care. Anywhere like in the middle. I don't need front row. He goes, okay, here you go. Same price for everything. It was front row. I'm like, wow. But for me, I've gone to a lot of sporting events. I've been front row, but I'd rather be like, row 5 or 6.
Agreed, yeah.
But it was cool for the girlfriend. It was Valentine's Day, so she could at least sit there and watch. And she sat down. She said, this is awesome. So it was a lot of fun. We went go-karting at Fast Tracks. I think it was in Langley as well.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a day. And then I went to the casino. That's mostly for me. But no, we had a good time. Met up. And then again, like just being home and going downtown, it's so funny. You run into all the same faces. I haven't been downtown in years. I really wanted to go to Roxy, but didn't make it. They weren't open yet.
Now, I'm sure they're Sean Whyte and the Roxy circa 2007-8. You and the likes of Iraqi probably going in there.
What the
right?
heck? Yeah, you're name drop. That's my crew. It was me, Iraqi, John Hammeister, Reese.
I remember.
Sean,
I remember your
that?
social media feeds around those days.
Man.
Don't you worry.
Well, I was kicking last year in our first game of the season. When we came to BC, was it the first game? I can't remember. First game here. And I'm kicking in my net, and I hear, Sean Whyte. And I look over, and it's Sasha, the bartender from Roxy.
Boy. Yeah.
And he still has the jersey I gave him back in 2009. And he's like, you're still kicking? I'm like, wait a minute. You actually didn't mean to sit right here with my jersey on? You didn't know I was going to be here? Like, what are the odds? So it's just so funny. He's like, come to Roxy, have some drinks. And I couldn't make it out after the game, but whatever. But it's just funny. He's running the same faces. It's just so much fun. Even walking in the locker room, like, just the way I left it. It's like coming home. My mom left my room just the way I left it.
Yeah, recovering, I speaking from experience, I know Nick hasn't had the pleasure yet, but recovering from the Roxy in your mid to late 30s isn't quite as easy as when you gotta pick 22, 23.
Yeah, you gotta pick and choose your battles. And I remember coming in here with Iraqi, and Wally would look at us and go, "Oh, the night owls are here," or something like that. But I'm 36 now, so yeah, like you said, if I get hungover, I'm hungover for a week now. So only on bye weeks now where I'll have some drinks.
Maybe training camp if there's a morning off or something. But anyway, before we're out of here, TJ Lee offered you your old number 6. Yeah. You're sticking with 10, right? Which is what you had in Edmonton.
Nope.
No.
I had it here.
You had it. Okay, so you had it here the first time.
Yeah.
But there's a story behind that. Pavel Bure.
I love Pavel. That was my guy, man. Like the 93, 94 Canucks, or even 93, 94 Blue Jays, like those years for sports was so phenomenal.
So good.
And I could name everybody on that team. I had Cliff Ronning, Jeff Courtnall, Russ Courtnall, even Kay Whitmore, Dana Merzen, Murray Craven. I could go on, Dave Babicher, Kay Lume, but I know all of them. But Bure was my favorite. The Russian Rocket. I don't know, man. That's just always been my guy. So when I got to be a BC Lion, that's the closest thing I'll ever be to a Canuck. So I want Pavel Bure's number 10. And I always loved number 10. I was number 10 in rugby as a fly half as well. But every time I never had a choice for a number, I was given number 6. It was so weird. Wally gave me number 6 for my first practice jersey. In soccer, I was playing competitive soccer. I didn't get to choose. I got number 6. Then I went to Montreal, and I wanted, they didn't have number 10 available, but I'm like, can I get number 12? Because it was my mom's number. But now Sandro came in and took number 12, so they just gave me number 6. So then I get to Edmonton, 6 was there for me. So, no, but then I come here, and TJ Lee goes, he just reached out of nowhere. He goes, hey, man, I want you to be comfortable. You can have your number 6. I'm like, that is, first of all, unbelievable respect. Like, I can't believe I don't need that respect. I'm a kicker, but but for him to do that, what a team guy. And I haven't met him yet personally, which is again amazing that he would do that. But it just goes to show, even the guys I've met already, they seem like awesome guys. It seems like a crew that's all on the same page. People already know their roles, and even just talking to guys like Pearson and those other guys, they are so bought in to whatever Rick is coaching. I haven't seen it yet, but I can't wait. But they love Rick. What I got from Rick is I love him already. He's such a guy's guy. And, yeah, I can't wait to meet TJ. I owe him some beers, that's for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Sean Whyte, what can you say? We could have gone on for hours, and
It felt like that, yeah.
yeah, we'll take him up on his offer to do an episode from the man cave in White Rock one time. So
MTV Cribs,
yeah,
White Rock style, yeah.
love it.
As a content idea.
Love it. See, we're getting ideas here every day. Joking aside, it's refreshing, and this is no disrespect to anybody else, but it's refreshing to be set at the position once again. I'll tell you what, Nick, last season, all outstanding men to talk to deal with, but that kicking situation, that game in Toronto comes to mind. The 3 missed kicks by Jimmy Camacho ultimately proved to be a big nail in the coffin, and it's good to have stability at the position again.
Yeah, and I think to even add on to that stability, it's stability from around like the 50-yard line too. Like Sean Whyte,
Sure,
he's kind of a guy that can do it all in the kicking position, and that's really exactly what you want.
I think we had, the longest one we had last year for us was 49, Jimmy Camacho. It wasn't all bad with him, but it's just everyone just remembers that one game. And, it started with Yamasaki, the Japanese kid. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Tough situation putting that kid in, I'll say. Week 1 in Regina, 33,000 people. Takaru, heck of a kid, and you commend him for for putting up with a lot of abuse from fans and whatnot. But it's good to have Sean Whyte full circle again, and you heard him there, becoming a firefighter, and has a regular day job. Settled down a bit maybe since his first Lions tenure. Won't be as many Roxy stories and all that. So good to have Sean Whyte in the house.
Yeah, well, he said he's going to pick his spots with the extracurricular activities. But another thing about Sean, too, it seems like if you can't tell, like there's no one more that wants to succeed next year than him. He seems like he's ready. He seems like his ultimate goal is to bring a Grey Cup back to his home, right? Like he seems like he's so motivated and so ready to finally hit the field back and be a starter for his hometown team.
Very well, and we could have gone on a long time with him, and perhaps we'll have to invite him back on First and Now. Thank to you, the listener, whatever podcast platform you're on, leave us a review, will you? Be honest. We love honest feedback here. If we're talking too much about the Roxy, just say it. But you don't get to talk about it every day, so that's awesome. Thank you, Nick.
Pleasure.
And thanks to Ben, our great intern from BCIT, for monitoring the levels. Shout out hi, Ben.
No problem. Oh, wait. Hi.
We'll pick that. That'll be picked up.
There you go. You made your on-air debut. We'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody.